My name is Mildred, and I coordinate the Urban Harvest Program based at Black Creek Community Farm. And Urban Harvest Program is one of the City of Toronto's community reduce and reuse programs, which aims to reduce food waste. Other programs include the bike hub, and there's a sewing hub where if you want to learn how to like sew or reduce textile waste, there's that. And if there's also like small appliance repair. So just check that out under the Community Reduce and Reuse programs of the City of Toronto. As for the Urban Harvest, our aim is to reduce food waste by harvesting and redistributing surplus produce that is gathered around the neighborhood and also at the farm and community gardens in the neighborhood. We also train people in preservation skills and cooking skills, so that way we gain more new skills, how to like cook a certain vegetable that may not necessarily be familiar, and this way we reduce food waste. So before we proceed, I'd like us to acknowledge the land that we are in. Black Creek Community Farm acknowledges that the sacred land in which we operate is situated upon the traditional territories of the Wendat, Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabeg, and most recently the Mississaugas of the Credit. This territory is covered by the Dish with One Spoon, Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Anishinaabeg and Haudenosaunee allied nations to peaceably share and care for the lands around the Great Lakes. Black Creek Community Farm recognizes the many nations of indigenous people who presently live on this land, those who have spent time here, and the ancestors who have hunted and gathered on this land known as Turtle Island. So this would be our last workshop for the year, and thank you for all of you who joined the workshop starting this year and all throughout. Thank you so much for supporting our program, and we hope that you continue next year. I hope you learn a lot, and we hope to hear from you actually. So we will share a survey. We will share the link on the chat later, how you could like give us a feedback. We would like to hear from you so that we can continue doing what we're doing and expand it even more. So today we have two of our two presenters. One is Celia. So Celia is like a pillar in this community, actually. She is a founder and director of the Jane and Finch Youth Group for over 14 years, working with children and youth in the neighborhood, including homework tutorial, and she is the lead coordinator of the Driftwood Parkette Community Garden. She is the lead resident of the 415 Driftwood Resource Community Center and senior community garden coordinator at Black Creek Community Farm. So the special thing about today is she'll be cooking callaloo and salted codfish and a sorrel drink, which is a popular Caribbean drink for the holidays. So she'll be demonstrating the callaloo and salted fish, and then we'll have Sharlaine come on, and then the sorrel drink as the third presentation. So let's welcome Celia.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. As you know, my name is Celia Smith. I'm a resident leader of the Jane Finch community. Today, I will be sharing with you one of our Jamaican recipe. I know other Caribbean nation or islands and countries may use it, but this is one of our dish. If you went to Jamaica for a holiday, they would, and you go for breakfast, for sure, callaloo and codfish will be on the recipe. So that is one of our breakfast menu. If you go into a hotel or even private homes, they use it. But some people just cook it anytime. You can make it for dinner, you can make it for lunch, whenever you feel like you want to. But if you go on a vacation, for sure, you'll be seeing callaloo and codfish as one of our main breakfast menu. So today, I have everything prepared because of time. And so I have the skillet on the stove that we'll be using today. I have a half cup of, if you follow the recipe, I have a half cup of olive oil. I like to use olive oil because it's more healthy. I know they said not to really heat it up, but I like to use olive oil in my cooking. And also, I have, if you notice the recipe says a half pound of codfish. I have here saltfish, a bunch of callaloo. This is the callaloo. This is what was saved. I'm a froze. I'm a freezer person. I like to go to my freezer to cook a lot of different menus. So this is callaloo. I can't show you it from the stock because it's already frozen. This is coming from the garden, Black Driftwood Community Parkette Garden. And so this is what I'll be using, callaloo. Also, I'll be using onion, a large onion. I got this onion from Black Creek Community Farm, thanks to the Black Creek Community Farm, where I've learned a lot of things. And so this onion came organic from there. We have also sweet pepper. So I have a cup of sweet pepper. I have three different colors here. Then I have the garlic that I have here, and I have all the herbs. So I have scallion, and I have this morning I ran to the garden. I got some garlic chives, onion chives. I got some leek, parsley. So I was able to cut them all together here that I'll be using, and so I'm going to start right now. I've put in adding all these different ingredients to the pot, and then they will be sauteing them. I'll be sauteing everything together, all these different things except for the codfish at this time. I put the tomatoes that I have, a large onion. And if you know me, I don't like to do see the season when I cook. So I learned from a chef how to cut them very fine, so they get lost in the at the ending of the at the ending of cooking whatever I'm cooking. By the time I get to the ending of it, all the onions and the green onions, everything will get lost in the meat or in the dish, because I don't like to be chewing on the scallion. I don't like to be chewing on the onion. So we're gonna saute it a little. And look at the colors. I love the colors. That's why I got all these different the pepper, the red pepper, we have the orange pepper, we have the yellow pepper. We didn't get any green one, but that's okay. But it's giving it a lot of color. The onion is red, so it's also giving a lot of color, and it is really looking pretty nice. Can you see what I'm saying right now?
You can bring it close to the camera.
Yeah. So
okay.
This is what it looks like. Yeah. I think we had a better shot of it yesterday. Yeah. So we just saute it a little. And the green, why I ran to the garden this morning, I just love the flavor of all the green herbs. It just gives whatever you're cooking such great taste and flavor. Taste is what we're looking for. So all the green herbs really give it beautiful flavor as we saute it. I'm gonna leave it a little bit. Then I'm gonna put in the codfish, let it saute a little. And I sent to Mildred, as I let this saute a little. I sent to her a lot of the nutrients that you get from the from Callaloo. Funny, I was eating it for so many years and never check out all the nutrients that I got from Callaloo. But if you download it, you would see that there's a lot of nutrients that you get from Callaloo. So this is a finished dish of it that I download, and it talks a lot about the benefits that we get, how it prevents cancer. It talks about all the different the vitamin you get, vitamin K, magnesium, and all these different things, vitamin A, that you get from Callaloo. So there's a lot of nutrients that we get and a lot of protection that we get for our body when we really dive down into Callaloo.
Celia, could you clarify for people who don't know what Callaloo is?
It's a plant. It's funny that we thought that Callaloo was one of our plants, but not knowing that it came from different countries, and different countries use it in different ways. So Callaloo is one. It's a more like a green, one of those greens like Swiss chard or kale, um, and spinach. So Callaloo is one of the green from the green vegetable family.
Yeah, it grows like a weed actually, and some people consider it like weed.
Yeah, well, if it always grows like a weed, but you plant the regular color. I don't like the weed ones. Lots of the residents likes that. I'm gonna add the codfish in now. Lots of the residents they like the ones that grow like weed, but I don't like that one. So I always plant every year. But lots of people just pick it and go home and cook it, and they enjoy it a lot. So people really actually love to use the one that grow wild one. I call it the wild one, the wild one. So lots of people like that one, but I don't really like it. So I always plant the seed. What you could do is leave a couple root of callaloo and let it grow until it's seed. So then when it's seed, you could let it dry, and then you just rub off all the covering of the seeds, and then you can get seeds to sow every year to have for your own callaloo. So I've been doing that for a few years, been using my own seeds every year, and it has been great. This year I had so many I had to give away. So at this time I'm gonna add the callaloo inside to the other ingredients. We're going to I don't know if everyone is seeing me. So I'm just going to turn it off, all the ingredients together. And look at the colors in it. I think we can add some more to it here. Get some more color in the pot.
So yeah, so Antonella is curious about the what it looks like. I just sent on the chat how the callaloo looks like. So there are varieties where it's like multicolored, and you might want to just plant it just for the sake of the color itself. It's very colorful. It grows. It's a very easy plant to grow in your garden. And there are the ones that are green in color, but there are the ones that are like variegated, like a mix of like green and then red. So I encourage you to try it. It's one of the easiest to grow, and once you grow it and you let it seed, it will self seed every year, and so yeah, and then you'll have that callaloo that you can enjoy every season. In terms of taste, I've tasted both. For me, the wild one tastes more like earthy. Do you agree, Celia?
I don't actually. I can't answer to that one because, as
Okay.
I said, I don't really like it, so I don't pick it. I don't cook it, so I could not tell you what it tastes like right now.
Right. So yeah, so for me, it tastes more earthy, and the other one, I don't know, the other one tastes more like spinach. Yeah, so I encourage you
Okay.
to try and experiment with different varieties and see which one
Okay.
you would enjoy more.
I'm gonna put the margarine in now. Because we're looking flavor. The cooking is all about getting great flavor and taste. The taste you want. You have to put whatever you need in it to actually get the taste you're looking for. So I use margarine to give me flavor right there. I use Irie seasoned salt. I don't use a lot of salt, if you know me, but I use seasoned salt to get me some. It gives you also the flavor. And I'm just going to, and I use cayenne pepper because I think I've heard I've never done the research on it, but I heard that it's very healthy. So I'm gonna put. I find a little bit of thyme this morning, so I love the fresh herbs. So I'm gonna put some thyme into it. That gives also flavor. And if you know me, I'm cooking. I love flavor. And for me, all the different herbs that I use and more, I dry every year. So I dry the herbs and then I also use it because, as I said, I'm looking for flavor. I'm looking for taste. So I always use some dry herbs. I always try them, lay them flat and let they dry. I don't like to dehydrate it because it doesn't have the same aroma from. You don't get the same aroma from it when you dehydrate it, and that's what I'm looking for. So now I'm going to turn it up again. Then I'm going to leave it and let it simmer. And this, let me taste what it tastes like. Yes, I'm getting my taste, my right flavor right there. So I like to use some type of water. I always have boiled water when I'm cooking, so I always put boiled water in whatever I'm using if I need to use some water. I'm going to cover it and it's going to simmer. And that is our callaloo. We're going to let it simmer for another, how much minutes I have, Mildred?
So let's while we're waiting for the callaloo to fully cook, we'll move on to our next presenter. And today we have Sharlaine to help us guide us at least in how to use wisely these pantry items, how you can make it more nutritious, I guess, or less salty. So today she'll be leading us in nutrition labels and pantry provisions. Sharlaine is actually our intern currently since she started in the fall, and she's helping out with gathering like produce from the neighborhood and delivering it to the local food banks in the area. So we are very thankful for her help. So she is a daughter of Peruvian immigrants and a master of public health student, and she's training to become a dietitian. She believes in the power of food to support and improve health, and she celebrates our cultures and bring uh, people together. So let's welcome Sharlaine.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mildred, for that introduction. Okay, perfect. Okay, so like Mildred said, I am a student studying public health, but I focus on public health nutrition. So I actually did my bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics. So I thought I would share some skills and knowledge when it comes to reading nutrition labels. So why should you even learn how to read nutrition and food labels? I think something important. If I'm going to be teaching you something, why should you learn it? So all prepackaged foods in Canada, they have a nutrition facts table. So that information is already there for you. So it's kind of up to the consumer to look at that information and interpret it, understand it. So like I mentioned, you can understand what ingredients and nutrients are in your food, because often when we go to the grocery store, we can buy something that says crackers, but what's really in these crackers? What makes them tasty? What makes them different? And there's so many options of just say crackers. And like I said, it may help you compare foods more easily. It allows you to make an informed choice, because with so many options, it's going to be more difficult to pick out which one you want, or which one is healthy, or which one is better, depending on your preference. So basically, these skills and knowledge that I'm helping you with, it's gonna, I think, will improve your confidence in healthy eating, because healthy eating is knowing all the knowledge about it, but it's also being able to apply it. So you need this combination of knowledge and you need the skill. So if you, I know we mentioned before, if you have a any kind of food or product with the nutrition facts table, I would recommend you to turn it over to the nutrition facts. If you don't have one, you can just follow along with me. I took a picture yesterday of this can. So this was from my pantry. This is red kidney beans. So when you're looking at this table, I'm going to be teaching you, it's basically 3 steps. Okay, so we're going to start with the first step, and that's the serving size. So it's going to be at the top, right underneath where it says nutrition facts. Usually it says per 1 cup, per 3/4 cup. So that's the first thing you're going to do. Find that number, because this number, this serving size, is telling you all the information about that size only. So all the numbers, all the numbers, the calories, the grams, the percentages, they only apply to that serving. Okay, so step 2. We're going to find a nutrient. You can pick any nutrient you want. I chose sodium. So I just looked down. There's all these nutrients. I chose sodium. It says 350 grams. Okay, third step. We're going to look at the percentage value. So once you have your nutrient, you're just going to look over to the right. It's always to the right. And you're going to look at that percentage. So I chose sodium. This one says 15%. Okay, so now I know the percentage. What does that even mean? So we're going to use this rule right here. This is the 5 and 15% rule. So whenever you get to your last step, you find the percentage. Anything that's 5% or less is a little, 15% or more is a lot. So what you want a little of is usually sodium and saturated fat. So I chose sodium and I look over, it says 15%. That's a lot. If I'm using this rule, 15% is a lot. But it's not always these things we want a little of. We also want a lot of things we want a lot of are like fiber or vitamin A or calcium. So if I look back at my nutrition facts table and I look at fiber and I look to the right of it, it says 44%. So I have a lot of fiber. That is over 15%. That's over the rule. I have a lot of fiber in just 1 cup of my red kidney beans. And I'm going to use this whole can. So if I use the whole can, it's more than 1 cup. I'm going to have a lot of fiber in whatever I'm cooking these kidney beans with. So I just wanted to mention one thing before I ask everyone else what they found. Whenever you're looking at this, it's not a checklist, this rule. You don't have to always have, a little sodium, a little saturated fat, and a lot of fiber. Just pick 1 or 2 nutrients, whatever food you have, like if it's cereal, it doesn't have to have all these things. So I was wondering if anyone wanted to share how they use the 3 steps, serving size, look at the nutrient, the daily percentage value, and using the 5-15% rule. Can anyone tell me if they found a lot or a little of something? Welcome to share.
Yeah, so you can unmute yourself. Anybody wants to say anything, you can just unmute yourself and speak to the group. I'm looking at my halderam. I never look at the label of this, but it's interesting. So 1/4 a cup. It has this fat, saturated fat, 30%. All right. So now I'm gonna be like policing my boys on how much they put on their plate, okay, including myself. So yeah, I was never aware how much the fat content is of this. So far, that's like the one that jumped. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you don't have to police your food. I think this red kidney bean can I have, it has a lot of sodium according to this rule, but I also have a lot of fiber. So I'm not, you know what I mean? Like every kind of food has higher and lower of certain nutrients. You're never going to find a perfect food. It's difficult to find a kind of perfect food.
Right. So knowing that it has a lot of fat, I would say I can't have like a cup of this. You know what I mean? So I can make everybody aware, hey, So I guess that would be the application that I see.
Yeah.
Based from this.
In terms of the sodium content, would you be able to do anything to reduce it?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be talking about that as well. That's in my slides right after this. I just wanted to know if anyone wanted to share. If they don't, I can move on.
All right.
Okay, I'm just gonna move forward. But yeah, so just before I move forward, try to remember the 5-15% rule. 5% is a little, 15% is a lot. Okay, so now that we're talking about canned foods, I think canned foods are pretty awesome. And I think they are often forgotten about when we talk about healthy eating. Often when we think of healthy eating, we think of fresh foods, but canned foods definitely have a place in healthy eating. And I know they're not necessarily fresh, but most canned fruits and vegetables, they're actually canned within hours after picking. So they kind of go straight into those process facilities. And when we're doing canning or preserving, we're not just preserving the food so it can last longer, we're actually preserving a lot of the nutrients. So a lot of nutrients like vitamin A, vitamin D, protein, fat, carbohydrates, they actually don't change that much in their amounts when they get canned. And I actually was looking into canned tomatoes a bit because there's been studies where they found when they canned tomatoes, it actually increased some nutrients. And it increased this one nutrient called lycopene. And lycopene is an antioxidant. And I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with this term, but an antioxidant is what kind of protects you against damaged cells in the body. And often when we're talking about cancer, it's those free radicals. Those are the damaged cells. They damage cells, and antioxidants kind of fight against that. And like also, it reduces cooking time. It's convenient and affordable. I don't know if anyone's ever cooked like beans straight from like dried beans. You have to soak it, then you have to cook it. So having canned beans or any canned fruit or vegetable definitely shortens your cooking time. I think I almost always buy beans if canned because I just want to make my cooking a bit faster. And I think also now that the city of Toronto is in lockdown and it's getting colder, we probably aren't going to, some of us might not be going to the grocery store that often. So these things, these stored food, these canned foods, we might be relying on them more often. So many options when it comes to canned food, even with one thing like peaches, you could find peaches in syrup, peaches in juice, peaches in that. So I put some pictures here. So whenever we're looking at canned fruits, I would recommend looking for ones that are packed in juice and packed in water. So I have some here like peach slices packed in water. This one has juice from concentrate or pineapple in its own juices. These might be a better option than say the peaches that are packed in syrup. Even if it says light syrup, it's still a sugary syrup. But it doesn't always happen that the fruit we want that's canned comes in water, water or in juice. So I do recommend you can do something just like draining and rinsing your fruit. If you had to buy one with syrup or you can't find, pears and juice and it's only pears and syrup, you can just drain and rinse before eating. And for canned vegetables and protein, what you want to look for is things that say no salt added, low sodium, no sodium added. These have very low sodium content. But like I mentioned before, if you can't find these things, it's not always available in every grocery store. You drain and rinse the vegetables. And you can even drain and rinse ones like mushrooms and green beans to reduce the sodium content.
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
The low sodium, I kind of backed off from buying low sodium because I heard that in order to get it to low sodium, they add more chemicals to it. So therefore, getting the thing that is just the regular stuff would be better than getting a low sodium product, any product.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, so I was looking at this yesterday. So Canada has really strict laws when it comes to labeling. And for something like low sodium, it's not I wouldn't say they add more chemicals. I'm pretty sure with low sodium, the law is like you have to be low in sodium, but you also have to be low in any substitute. So Health Canada has this rule like, sure, you can do low sodium for say like tuna, but you can't just replace it with something that's similar to sodium. So I wouldn't say that something that's low sodium is worse, or that it has more chemicals, like you said, because the laws in Canada are super strict with that. Like it's like a sodium, it's not only low in sodium, it's low in any substitute for sodium as well.
Yeah, yeah. I guess with the sweet stuff, sometimes if it's if they say it's less sweet, I've noticed the nutrition facts or the ingredients under the ingredients that it says that they use um, that chemical sugar, the fake sugar, in order to make it less
Mm-hmm.
or not high in sugar. I can't
Right.
think of the name of it, but so usually when it says that it's low in sugar or sugar free, I look deeper just because
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that they don't have that chemical sugar stuff. I know there's one like aspartame, for
Aspartame, yeah.
example, is one of them, which is I think the studies have shown that aspartame is, can cause cancer over time. So
Mm-hmm.
I used to drink pop, um, the one that sugar free, but when I discovered that it had aspartame, then I just kind of went back to the regular stuff to only have a little versus a whole can.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. Like I mentioned with the fruits, like canned in water, a lot of companies do use aspartame. But the thing with aspartame is you're right that there were a lot of studies kind of showing negative effects of it, but there's been lots more studies now. And something like aspartame, you would have to eat so much before it would affect you. So I wouldn't, and especially the amount they put in canned foods.
Yeah,
And if you were eating something like peaches and water, you could rinse it as well if you do feel like, there's not enough, you're kind of scared of the aspartame, you don't want that, because the aspartame is only in the liquid, it's not in the fruit itself.
or it wouldn't be absorbed.
Not necessarily. No, and I would think the amount of aspartame that they even put in the liquid, it's not going to be that much, and you would have to eat like so many cans of like canned peaches in water for
Yeah,
it to have negative effects. So something like aspartame is, you're right, like it's been a very complicated issue. Like it was bad, then it's okay, then all this. I wouldn't
a
personally,
long
like
term effect.
it wouldn't stop me from eating peaches and water. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
All right, no, no, don't worry. No, I just said that it would be a long term thing that it'll show up, when you have passed many decades. At
Mm-hmm.
least that's what I understood. But so, anyways, as a result of it, I kind of backed off from anything that is
Yeah.
uh, they say sugar free. I just double
Mm-hmm.
check that sometimes they sweeten it with stevia, that's good because
Mm-hmm.
stevia it's a sugar is from source from a plant. So yeah, that's what I kind of do. Just really read my labels. I wasn't introduced to with another nurse when I was going to classes. They showed us the labels, and so ever since I've been I always kind of look at it, make sure that it's not too bad.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. And
Yeah,
um,
I think it's a great tool for us to actually read the labels.
yeah, no, yeah, I'm glad. And I'm glad you said that. But yeah, also with the aspartame thing, studies with cancer, if you look into like even like Cancer Canada, they don't usually mention aspartame because there's not a lot of evidence, like a lot of strong evidence to say this causes cancer.
Yes, yes,
It's usually other things they're concerned about.
yes.
So,
Oh, great to know.
I mean,
Thank
that's
you.
totally your choice though. If you don't want to eat aspartame, that's up to you.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I forgot about my slide. So next slide is I'm sure many of you already know this. I think with Urban Harvest, they're really good at reducing waste and food waste, but the best before label is not an expiry date label. It's only a date that tells you how long the food will retain its quality. So you can eat it after. These points I have right here, you can buy and eat foods after the best before date has passed. I took this straight from Health Canada. So just in case anyone is kind of confused about best before dates, you can eat it after. Best before doesn't tell you anything about food safety. It just is something the company has to put to say, you know, after March 3rd, 2022, this food might change its texture, its flavor. They can't guarantee the quality after that date. Okay, so I'm going to finish off with just one, this last slide. I made a kind of example of a day of eating with only stored food to show that you can definitely have a healthy eating pattern with food. None of this food is fresh here. So for breakfast, we have oatmeal with canned peaches and nuts. You got pasta, tomato pasta with beans, frozen spinach, frozen mixed vegetables. And then for dinner, you got salmon and rice and some vegetables. So yeah, I think I was, like I mentioned before, I think canned foods are really convenient and affordable, and not just canned foods. We have things like nuts and seeds and frozen foods, or even I know a lot of people do their own preserves, can definitely make it into a healthy eating pattern, and you can have a diet like filled with fruits and vegetables. So yeah, that's about it for me. But if anyone has any questions, I am here to answer. I'm just gonna stop sharing my slides.
Thank you very much, Sharlaine. I think that's very informative. It's always good to be reminded of our nutrition labels, because sometimes we just put that aside or not being aware of it. So and then we just munch the whole bag of something, you know. So thank you so much for that. And if there's any question, we can discuss it. But for now, maybe let's check in on Celia, how the Callaloo and fish is doing. And of course, we don't want to miss the sorrel drink, which maybe some of you may want to experiment on it for the holidays. So bring it on, Celia.
Okay, I'm waiting on you. Great. So this is what it looks like in the pot. This is what it looks like in the pot.
Yeah, you can tilt it
a little more.
Yeah, and raise it a little.
Oh, it's steaming hot. Nice.
Yeah, I just turned it off.
I missed the beginning, but that was salted codfish.
Yes, codfish, salted codfish.
It was salted though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's that is something that you can soak overnight in water too, just because it's really, really salty at first, and soaking it in water will get rid of that sodium content and just make it less salty to taste.
Yes, yes. We do a meal for Good Friday with codfish, and we put it in water the day before, and then we create this massive soup with all kinds of vegetables, and that's kind of the meal for Good Friday.
Sounds delicious.
And now I have a new idea what to do with codfish, because that's the only thing that we do is for Good Friday is that meal that has all kinds of vegetables, and it's cooked in milk.
Wow.
And this is what it looks like on your plate if you get breakfast.
Oh.
You can add fried plantain. The plantain you could get into the store. You could dice it and fry it. You can also, I have bread. You can also use green banana. A lot of people like green banana. You get that in a restaurant. If you go to Jamaica, or when you West Indian island.
Like the banana, not the plantain?
Yeah, the green banana. A lot of people like that for breakfast with callaloo and coffee. So even when you go to the restaurants, you get that.
Oh yeah, right now No Frills has the plantain on sale, like 74 cents a pound.
Yeah,
It was
so you
great.
could always, yeah. So those are some of the things. And as I said, you could cook it, you could use it with rice, anything you want to make it with. It doesn't has to be. I'm from the country, back not in, from the Kingston in Jamaica, but I'm from Clarendon. So we use it for dinner. We use it for just about anything we want to make it for. But as I said, for restaurants and certain people, they stick to it as a meal for breakfast. So that is it for our calendar. And I hope many people who do not know how to do it, never done it before. And another thing, you may not be able to get the callaloo from the farm. Black Creek Community Farm sells callaloo. I get it in the neighborhood to shop to buy. You can buy the canned ones. They sell the canned ones, so you can go use the canned ones also to get that delicious menu that you're looking for from callaloo. So that is it for callaloo today.
Hallelujah. Were
And I
there
am going to,
onion involved at the beginning
pardon me?
to do the like at the beginning? Did you use onions and garlic?
Oh yeah, everything was in
Sorry,
there.
I missed the first part.
Oh,
That
oh, it's on the recipe.
it. All right,
Yeah,
wonderful.
everything is in the recipe. So you could
I
And
I'll link it in the chat again, so that you can access it at any time. But I just, oh my bad.
thank you.
No worries. There we go. I just sent it. You can see the recipe for the callaloo and the sorrel that's coming up.
And I
okay,
just
so
have a
we have the
question about the
sorrel that is coming up
nutritional
right
factor
now.
when it's possible.
Sorrel is a drink. Just doing a research on it. Um, this week I've learned so many things about it that I didn't know before. That there's different type of sorrels, but the Jamaican one has petals that you use. This is a dry petal. The green one is more it's more red when you look at it. So these are a few. My hands are clean. Just wash them. So these are the petals that you would get from the Jamaican sorrel. So I have a cup and a half here that I'll be using right now. And so I've learned all the nutrients you get from it also. It was amazing. I was just talking to my sister and I was telling her about the nutrients and the amazing things that sorrel does for our body. They recommended it to cranberry and pomegranate um, juice, that those juices are similar. And so that's what I learned about sorrel this year. So I'm going to use, on the recipe, we have 3 cups of sorrel, but it's the green sorrel that I'm referring to. I should have put the green one in it. I left that out. However, the green, when you're using 3 cups of the green one, the dry one is half the amount. So it's 1.5 cup of dry sorrel instead of the 3. If you're using the 3, then you have to double the ingredients that we have here. I did that, and we realized that I needed to double the boiling water because I noticed when I poured it out, it was so strong. And then I did a check on it, and I realized I needed to do that. So my water is already boiling here, 5 cups of water. And I have a cup and a half of sorrel that I'm going to be pouring in it. I have some cloves that I'm putting in it, and the sorrel I put in it, the clove. I have some cinnamon leaves that's on it, and I'm putting them in there because they're looking for, it gives it flavor. You know, cinnamon gives a lot of flavor. And the ginger. You need a gingery taste. Sorrel gives a gingery taste. When you make it, it needs that in the for the to give it that nice flavor when you mix it. It gives you that gingery taste. So I pour it in boil water, and I need to let the water it boil up again. So right now it's almost boiling. And it's on the fire. So it has to boil up again. The water boils before you pour it into it. Then it boils again up, and then you take it off and cover it. It is supposed to ferment, leave to be fermented for 24 hours before you mix it. So that is the beginning of doing the soil. So I'm
How
going
do
to
you
take
spell
it.
thorium?
Pardon me?
How do you spell thorium?
Sorrel.
Sorrel. Oh, it's not thorium. Sorrel. Okay.
Yeah.
I have never seen it, but I will look out for it.
So it is a Christmas seasonal drink. I know we get it to buy anytime you want in Caribbean, West Indian stores in this country, but in Jamaica it's say from late fall to January or maybe February, maybe the latest that you would get it. Um, the petals to use. So it is a Christmas drink. So now is the time. Every time of the year like this, I would make a big container of sorrel, and then I would maybe give my sister a bottle or whoever wants a bottle. I normally do a Christmas program, and I always do sorrel for them and different things that they look forward to. This year we won't do it because of COVID, but sorrel is something that a lot of people look forward to who knows about it this time of the year for Christmas. That's our Christmas tree. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of highlight on that. Okay.
Celia, just to clarify, the little dried sorrel buds, that's also called hibiscus, right?
Hibiscus, yes. Yes, that's another name for it, hibiscus. Just have a small amount, and I'm gonna throw it in.
And for the ginger, could it be fresh or does it have to be dried? Does it matter?
I use a fresh one, and I use the frozen one. If I have it frozen, because I don't normally buy those things and have it in my freezer. So if I need to use it, I just go ahead and do that.
Cool.
So let me turn this a little bit now, different, because I'm going to work right here on this table. Okay. So what I'll be doing, I did some from yesterday, 24 hours ago, that I have ready, that I'll be mixing. To show you how we mix it, the different ways, because we can use brown sugar. The recipe says brown sugar. I like to use syrup. So I like to use syrup. And I think when you're doing syrup, you may have to make it a little stronger. With sugar, you don't need to.
Maple syrup?
This is brown sugar.
No, the syrup.
Yeah, and you could use syrup or
Maple
syrup.
Yeah.
One or the other.
All
To
right.
mix it. I like the taste, the flavor that the syrup gives, so I use syrup. And this is one of the company I recommend. Their sorrel. I use this company every year. The sorrel is so strong. It's even yesterday when I did that, Christina, and I looked back, went and looked at it. It was so strong that remember what we had to add to it. It is so strong. So I recommend Caribbean Delight sun-dried sorrel. That's a company I recommend. That their sorrel, it is very strong, and I love it.
I wrote that in the chat for anyone who missed that. You can usually find it in Caribbean or Asian supermarkets too, for the most part.
Yeah, you'll find it in there.
Charlene asked, can you grow sorrel here, or is it more of a tropical plant?
I've seen African Food Basket try to grow it at the farm. And what happened is, I don't know if they started late, but the petal was coming on, but then the frost came and they lost all of it. So if you're doing that, I'll think most likely if it's not early enough, or if you put it in a greenhouse. So
Yeah,
I think
so there's one sorrel plant at the farm growing in the kids garden actually, and depending on the variety they can resist
right.
winter, so it's kind of like hardy sorrel, and it's part of the tasting tour that the kids like, and then their eyes, like when they get a taste of it, their eyes pop out and it's like, whoa, this is the most different type of vegetable that
So
they
that was
ever like tasted. And I have one growing in my front yard too. I had it in the summer. I don't know if it will survive the winter, but it looks like it's the same variety as the farm. So
I think it's a different because I learned from doing that research on it that there are different types of sorrel. The Jamaican one put out the petals, not all the other sorrel. I have a copy here that show you it's a different. I think that's the one that Mildred is talking about. If you look at it, it just come in like the callaloo or the kale or the Swiss chard. So that's a different type from the one we grow in Jamaica. I never knew of this one until I did the research on it. So there are different types, and different islands use the different ones. But the only one I know of is the one with the petal from Jamaica.
Yeah, so Celia clarified with us this morning that if you were to use the red hibiscus one, then you would use less of that because it's more potent. But if you wanted to replace it with the green one, you have, I think, 3 times as much of it in the tea.
I know it double. The green one is double.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd use half. The dry one you'd use a half of the amount of green amount. So we have 3 cups of green sorrel. You'll use 1.5 cups of the dry one. Because the dry one is strong, is stronger, and when it dries, there's more that hold in the cup than if you put the green petal in the cup.
Does that clarify things for people?
So that was what my sister explained to me. I knew something like that would happen, and then I checked with her. She said yes, and when she checked it out, yeah, we had to use 3 cups of green one, but for the dry one, you use 1.5 cup to get the same amount that you would like from that. Okay, so I'm going to strain. So this is what I did from yesterday. I had all the ingredients I put in this one I just did. I have it in this one. So I'm going to strain it. And see how if you look at the petal now, they look like when they were green.
Are they edible?
Pardon me?
Are the leaves edible?
Yes, they are.
You can eat
so
them?
back home, not well. I don't know if you can eat it without these. I've never done that.
No, after you have
you have
cooked
to
it.
ask the farmers. You have to ask the farmers because I know these farmers just pick stuff from the garden and just bite into them that I didn't know that could happen. So I learned to eat okra just biting into it when I go to the garden instead of cooking it. So
I wondered if you could eat this one, the one that you're straining.
Okay, so this one, no, you could use it to make jam.
Oh, so there is a purpose.
Yes.
That's
so back home when we use, I've never done it with the dry one, but I know back home when we get the green ones and we make the sorrel drink, then we use the petals and we make jams with them. So that I know that I don't know if I've never used, as I said, I never used the dry one to do that. But I know that back home when we do the green ones, we use it and make jams. As I say,
Celia,
look at the petal, how they look. That is what it look like when it's green, but it's red. So they're big now. So that's why you use a half of it because they're so big when they get when they're green.
the sorrel you buy from the store, is it dried?
Yeah, yeah. You could get at West Indian store, but I didn't see any yet. So I don't know if it's there as yet. But this time of the year, you could get the green ones, the West Indian store, or the different stores that sells it. You can get the green ones there. And so we're going to mixing it now. So I'm going to put a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of lime juice. That gives it a nice flavor also. And I've never measured this, so I cannot tell you exactly how much to put in it. So I'm gonna have to start doing that to see. So I'm gonna put a half a cup and see what happens. I know that wouldn't do it, so I might just do a cup.
Sorry,
So we're
what was
mixing.
that?
This is this is why you were looking for, Mildred, grape syrup, strawberry syrup.
Oh, I see. That's instead of the brown sugar.
Instead of the brown sugar, I like to use the so it needs way more than that. See, when you're used to just doing it from your head and you don't have to answer to anyone, you just pour until you get what you want. All right, coming to. And because I don't like things that are very sweet.
So what taste are you looking for, Celia? Is it like citrusy and a little sweet, or?
Yeah, a little sweet, a little gingery, sweet, and you mix it. And some people, one of the recipe I have from the book I took it from, people who drink, they can add a little Jamaican white rum to it. I don't drink rum. I don't drink. So they had a little rum to it, or if you like wine, you can add a little wine to it. Depends on what flavor, what taste you're looking for from it, you can add to it, other stuff to it. I think I get the, yes, I get the taste that I want from here. So I put two cups of the syrup I put in it, and it's gingery. I could taste the ginger, and for fermentation to have it, because when I'm using it, I'll do it, let's say, a few days before I need to use it, and I normally put some rice in it for fermentation, for it fermented. By the time I get it to use, that it really tastes and flavored the way how we want it and as strong as we wanted it. So I have some rice here. Now I'm going to put two tablespoons in it. As one is for that, and I doubled it. But some of what I have, I doubled because I changed. This is double the one that I just did. So this one was 3 cups of the dry, and this small pot that I just made, it's 1.5 cups. So this is double what I'm getting, right, that I just did. at this time. So I'm going to pour it into a jug or just to give you an idea what it looks like. This is what it looks like. And if you want me to, can you see pretty good?
Yeah, if you can hold the glass up just midway.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, there you go.
That looks refreshing.
Yes.
So this is our Jamaican Christmas drink.
I did know that it can be it is a fermented drink. And normally how long do you let it steep in the rice?
Maybe because say for this year, and I've learned how healthy it is. I won't maybe put too much rice in mine this year because I'll be making it to serve a long while. So, and then I don't drink strong drinks, so I have to be careful how long it's fermented for. But over the season, the Christmas season, I would have it for then. And then I know people come, well, I won't have visitors this year, family, but normally come, oh, do you have sorrel? Oh, it's in the fridge. And they come back, oh, you don't finish it yet? No. So I have people who always come in and looking for it and drinking it. So it goes fast too.
And how long does it stay in the fridge?
I never check the time. I just until it's finished. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It goes on and on until it's finished. So I never really put timing on it. But because especially if I'm the only one drinking it, then it stays there a while.
Okay, so it can stay like at least a week or so.
Oh no. That's way over the season, over the holiday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's a seasonal drink. It stays all the way over the holiday. If you don't like it fermented that much, you're not in any rush. You don't even have to put the rice in it.
I see. So as long as it stays in the fridge, it can last.
Yeah, and no, we never have fridge in those days, and it stays outside too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, right. But I keep it in the fridge because then it's safe in there. It can stay as long as it wants in there. So I keep it after I finish doing my events. Always, whatever is left over, I put in there, and if I make some more, I just mix it and put it in the refrigerator.
Is cooked rice? Cooked rice?
No, the rice is all uncooked.
Oh,
is it
really?
brown rice or white rice?
Anyone. The one I'm using is brown rice, but you can use any rice.
Wow, wonderful.
So then you have to strain it again. You have to strain it again?
No, just
or
one time.
Softened.
Or well, for the rice, if you have the rice in it. The rice. I know, as I said, rice. I realized I'm missing something that I didn't put on the table. And it's on the recipe, Mildred. You didn't remind me. The pimento also is another spice that gives it a nice flavor. So I normally put pimento seeds in it.
And the cloves as well?
Yeah, the cloves is I put from when it was
boiling.
Yeah, when I put it to boil and to take it out. But when you finish with this, now is when you put the pimento. This is the pimento seed. I have the bottle here. Just put them
So that'll give it a kick, and like it's gonna be a little bit kind of spicy.
Yeah, it's not spicy. Just give it that nice flavor. That's just,
Oh,
yeah. So that's the pimento. I carry this from Jamaica. So I always put pimento in it too and leave it, and it gives it stays there with it. So that's why, as you mentioned, the straining. That's what just clicking that. Oh, you're missing your pimento. I did take the bottle down. Yeah. So the pimento. So you would have to strain it again, a small
oh,
strainer, and just to get rid of the rice and also the pimento seed when
thank
you're
you.
drinking it. And that is my sorrow Christmas
Yay!
sorrow drink.
Cheers to that, Celia. I think we have plenty of time to like experiment and try this dish and drink over the holidays with the lockdown. So, Celia, thank you so much for sharing your culture, um, your food today. We are privileged to hear it straight from a person who actually like cooks this and enjoys this for um, yeah. And so, and also thank you for Sharlaine for making us like be mindful of what we eat in terms of like nutrition, reading nutrition labels and all of that.
Oh, I had a
Especially,
question for that.
sure, yeah, go ahead, Orpha.
The percentage of each of the stuff that is in it, the sodium and all that, it is that percentage means what you are allowed to have for the like a daily recommended. I just wanted to confirm that it's recommended. You're getting 15% of what I guess the daily recommended amount a person should have. Do you get my
Correct.
question?
So yeah, the daily value is what Health Canada marks as how much of a nutrient you should get to get for like 90% of the population. That's what it is. So
Okay.
for something like calcium, they did studies on like every age and like gender, all these age groups, and then they use the highest
Okay.
one because the highest one would therefore get everyone. It wouldn't just get older adults or children, it would go for most of the population. So
Yeah.
whenever you see something that says 14%, it's 14% of your recommended daily value for that nutrient. So you're right.
All right. Oh, thank you for confirming that. I was just
Wow, thank you so much. Thanks, Orpha, for all your questions, and the rest of you who asked questions either over the chat or made comments. Thank you so much. Any last minute question or feedback from
no,
anyone?
just thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to
Yeah,
just learn something new and
Yeah,
perhaps
thank
try it over the holidays as we still, we can't really go anywhere, so might as well experiment.
exactly.
I'm
you. Yeah.
going to experiment with the
That's the
drink.
way to go. That's the way to go. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
And
Celia.
yeah, thank you so much, Celia. And again,
You're
Charlene,
welcome.
for sharing the nutrition label reading. And with that, I think that concludes our workshop for the year.